Halo, Assalamualaikum, selamat petang, selamat pagi, namaste, namaskar, 大家好, konbanwa, hapari, omani batyam. Hello, hola, bonjour, 안녕하십니까. Welcome to the 5th episode of World Mediation Deacons. This is DK. I'm thrilled to have my guest today. His name is Jeremy Lack. Carl Jung studied analytic psychology in Switzerland. Jeremy Lack started to use neuropsychology in alternative dispute resolution in Switzerland. Is it a coincidence? For ordinary people like me, he is a great magician in the world of alternative dispute resolution. Bonjour, Jeremy. Welcome to the show.
Bonjour, very pleased to meet you, and thank you for that very kind introduction. I hadn't heard any of that comparison or thinking before, but it's interesting to hear, and I'll disabuse you of everything. So I'm born and raised in Geneva, Switzerland. I have 4 passports. I'm Swiss, British, US, and Israeli. Combination of parents got me to Geneva and born here. I went to England for my studies. I qualified first as a barrister in litigation in England, but I always had a mix, and that goes back to the neuroscience. I had a mixed interest in science and in law, and I decided to practice a combination of the two and did patent law and technology law, and went to the United States, practiced there for many years, qualified as an American patent lawyer, and did US-style litigation for several years. And then I moved in-house, worked for a large medical device company, and traveled a bit around the world, helping with different operations, acquisitions. I did some transactional work at that stage, a bit like you, DK, on moving from litigation to transactional. And when my second daughter was born, I was living in Grenoble in France by that stage, working for the European headquarters of this multinational. I thought I wanted to come back to Switzerland, where I felt my roots were, and my daughters could be based here. I liked the international environment of Geneva, so we moved back. And ever since then, I created Law Tech and did some other things. So I created Law Tech, which is my own firm. And we're looking at shadows and trying to interpret things, but our technology is not really there yet. So we have to be very careful about saying anything about neuroscience. Still, it's very interesting, and we're beginning to see some of the shadows take shape, and some of it makes sense, and some of it, but we'll see. It's early days still.
I love your analogy. We are living in middle age of neuroscience, and I think you are Renaissance man.
No, definitely not, because I'd be inventing. I'm simply trying to understand what... I have the great fortune of working with a lot of neuroscientists who've educated me, but it's always difficult at times to... it's very complex.
Well, one of the key things I have learned from Toolkit Academy, one of your classes, is omnipartiality. Can you explain the key difference from omnipartiality and neutrality?
Partiality is a much more difficult concept. What does partial mean? It means you're leaning more to one side than to the other. And my understanding of the human brain is such that we are always trying, especially when trying to work as mediators, we're trying to connect with the other side. We're in fact trying to be partial every time. If we want to be in a situation where we can empathize with a person and feel their feelings, we can't talk about impartiality. We're very partial to them at that moment. The point is, though, we need to be equally partial to everybody, so that if we're going to be empathizing, we're going to have to empathize with both parties and equally. Now, is that possible or not? Technically, I'm not sure how we can measure this objectively, but the idea of omnipartiality is to say, don't pretend that you're not partial, just be equally partial with everybody. And so for me, what's really important is to make sure there's equal partiality from that point of view, and that is referred to as omnipartiality, equal but everywhere.
As a mediator, while doing that omnipartiality, omnicompassion, and by caucusing each other and caucusing spending too much time, then your compassion goes to compassion fatigue area, because judge or arbitrator never give any compassion, right? They need to be objective and they need to be rational or logical, but mediator need to have compassion to both parties equally. And I think there should be some kind of fatigue generated by compassion.
So it's very interesting that you use the word compassion for that. And actually, when you look at neuroscience, we have to separate between empathy and compassion. They're not the same thing, and the areas of the brain that are activated are different.